we were all a great deal younger, this was what passed for daytime television. But late in the afternoon, children all over America would wait patiently for the moment when the screen changed from this to this.
Say, kids, what time is it?
Long before Sesame Street and Barney, the Howdy Doody show reigned as television's first nationwide children's show. It actually started as a local radio show in New York City, the brainchild of one man.
And my half hour was the Triple B Ranch, and the 3 B's stood for Big Brother Bob. So my writer said to me, look, we need some comedy on the show. Do you do any voices? And I said, well, let's try. So he went into the control room, and I did some voices. And he sort of like this Mortimer Snurdish country bumpkin type voice that we called Elmer. So I say, oh, here's Elmer. Hi, Elmer. And Elmer would say, oh, well, howdy doody. Oh. We didn't have a dummy or a puppet, but after the show, the kids would come up to me and they'd say, gee, we're disappointed. We wanted to see Howdy Doody. Well, this gave us 2 ideas. We won't call him Elmer anymore. We'll call him Howdy Doody. It's a much cuter name. And if the television people would be interested, maybe this could go on television. And that's how the entire Howdy Doody concept started.
It was 1947, and for the next 13 years, the Howdy Doody show enchanted boys and girls all over the country with Buffalo Bob and his large cast of humans and puppets.
We needed a villain on the show, and we had this blustery character. We named him after Phineas T. Barnum, so we called him Phineas T. Bluster. He was the villain, but a nice sort of a villain, a Scrooge-type villain who always turned around and was sorry. Then the first vacation that I ever had in my life, Eddie Keane wrote into the body of the show that I was off on a secret mission to go to South America to get this animal who was 8 animals in one, the flubadub. But the flubadub would only eat flowers until we got the nastiest letters from the parents saying, look, get off of that flower kick with the flubadub eating flowers. Our kids are out in the garden eating roses, and we don't want them to get killed on the thorns. So we decided that the flubadub only liked South American flowers, but he loved meatballs and spaghetti.
Do you like food? No, I like food. Oh, my.
Now, Dayton Allen was one of our great puppeteers. He played live characters like Lanky Lou, Pierre the Chef, Sir Archibald, and he was our first voice for Mr. Bluster and the Flubadub and the Inspector.
In his now politically incorrect role as Chief Thunderthud, Bill LaCorneck uttered a mock Indian word that has entered the English language.
Cowabunga, I open this.
It's a byword now. It's in dictionaries. Cowabunga. Originally started on the Howdy Doody show by Chief Thunderthud.
When a buddy shakes your hand, be sure as soon as he takes your hand, you let him know you think he's grand. Just yell.
Well, Judy Tyler, she was our dear Princess Summer, Fall, Winter, Spring. She asked for a 6 months leave, went out to California and made the movie Jailhouse Rock with Elvis Presley. And then she married on the West Coast, and she and her new husband, as soon as the movie was over, she and her new husband bought a sports car, and they were traveling east to New York to do some panel shows. She was killed in an automobile accident, July 4, 1957. Tragic.
And then there was Clarabelle, the silent clown who spoke by honking his horn and who plagued Buffalo Bob with pranks and mischief.
Kids, there's nothing on. See, this is my own hair, see? Clarabelle is where? Well, anyway. Now what are you doing? Class, right?
And where is Howdy Doody today? In an honored place in Buffalo Bob's home.
We did have a backup for this fellow, one that we could use in case something happened to the real Howdy. We called him Double Duty. He is now in the Smithsonian Institute. Now, in the event that we should do a personal appearance where we don't have a puppeteer to operate Howdy, we bring a third Howdy, but we actually call him Photo Duty. He is for pictures only. And there he is. Is that right, photo?
All of this was done live, 5 days a week, in front of an appreciative audience of children called the Peanut Gallery.
Now, why do we call it Peanut Gallery? Well, because we had the circus motif. Most people or kids eat peanuts when they go to the circus. Peanuts and circus are sort of synonymous. And parents affectionately call their kids peanuts. So that's how the word Peanut Gallery came into being. And it's certainly latched on because people to this day will say, no comments from the Peanut Gallery.
The first Clarabelle was Bob Keeshan, who went on to more fame later as Captain Kangaroo. The longest-running Clarabelle was Lou Anderson. To this day, Bob and Lou do occasional personal appearances for old-time Howdy Doody fans and their children.
Well, I've always maintained that kids are kids are kids. Kids haven't changed that much. All kids like slapstick, they like fantasy. Clarabelle and I do the same routines today that we did 45 years ago. Now, the kids don't know too much about Howdy other than what their parents told them. But when we get out on stage, it isn't a second and a half before the kids are right into it. And they say, look out, Buffalo Bob, Clarabelle's behind you with it. Look out, Buffalo. And I'm the only one in the world that doesn't know I'm going to get squirted. And pow, I get it. And they go bananas.
Well, it's fun. You know, we had a wonderful time with the show. And it's great to see that the kids, the new generation of kids, through their parents, are learning what Howdy's all about.
Well, here's the old...
After 13 years of songs and slapstick, the Howdy Doody show was canceled in 1960.
And by then, we were taping the show. The show was aired on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And my son Chris, who was 6 years old at the time, and my wife Mill and I, we were watching the show. I looked at Chris, tears were coming down his face. Looked at Mill was really crying. And I ran out of the house and shot the worst golf game that I ever played in my life.
Well, we had a big studio audience for that show. It was extended to an hour, and I can tell you there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Prove it. Let's hear
It
you
was an
say
emotional occasion, made more dramatic by a surprise ending featuring the only words ever uttered by Clarabelle in the history of the show.
Goodbye, kids.
It's time to say goodbye, goodbye, till our next show time, when we'll all be with you again. It's time to go till our next show. Goodbye from us to you.
Goodbye, kids.